Okay, scientists, grab those lab coats and those goggles, as today we are going to continue to explore more about the differences between mixtures and solutions. Let's get into it with our essential questions.
Now, let's talk about our essential question. Remember, essential questions in science and in different lessons can help us think about what we already know about a topic, and it helps us connect to new ideas that we're going to learn today to help us produce a new thought about the topic. Our essential questions will be focused on our different science topics. So look for keywords. In those keywords, the minute you see them and recognize them, I want you to think, what do I already know about this topic? Once you have that in your mind, you want to look at the question again to see what we're trying to answer today or what are we trying to answer about that topic. It's important to remember that an essential question is like a goal as well. By the end of our science lesson, you should confidently be able to answer the essential question. Let's go over our essential question for today.
Let's look at our essential questions for this unit. I'll read the first one aloud. Listen, are all mixtures the same? Why do you think so? Read that one with me. Are all mixtures the same? Why do you think so? Let's look at number 2. How could you demonstrate that a mixture's ingredients hold their physical properties? Read that one with me. How could you demonstrate that a mixture's ingredients hold their physical properties? And our last one. What makes a solution a unique type of mixture? How could you demonstrate this? Read this whole one with me. Ready? What makes a solution a unique type of mixture? How could you demonstrate this?
You guys will be doing 2 different activities today. In the activities, you will be working with different mixtures and solutions. You will be identifying some of their physical properties and talking about how those can help pull those mixtures back apart into their individual ingredients. Let's go over some of the cards you'll see today and maybe some of the matches that you'll have to make in the future activities you'll do. For the activities, you'll get several sets of cards. On some of the cards, you'll have different tools, like you see here on the left. Different tool cards include things like tweezers, forks, tea strainers, sieves, magnets, and there's a few others that you'll see. These are different tools or equipments that you can use to separate mixtures. Now, because we have these tool cards, we also have our mixture cards. On these mixture cards, it gives you 2 items that are mixed together. So 2 ingredients that are combined together, like tea leaves and hot water, rocks and sand, aluminum nails and iron nails, bran cereal and raisins, and spaghetti and meatballs. All of these are different types of mixtures that have been put together. Now, I'm going to go through and show you some examples of how I would pair these up or how I would look at these mixtures and tools and how I would separate them into their individual ingredients.
Let's start with one mixture at a time. We'll start with tea leaves and hot water. When I think of tea leaves and hot water and I look at our different options here, I think of a few different things that I could use or I could automatically rule out. I'm going to rule out magnet because I know that hot water and tea leaves are not magnetic. That's not a physical property of them. If I look at the things like tweezers, I know I can pick up tea leaves, but it might be hard to pick them up with the tweezers. It might be a little bit difficult. The same with the fork. It might be difficult to pick up the tiny tea leaves with the fork. They might slip through. The last 2 options I have are a sieve and a tea strainer. Both of these might be good options, but a sieve is a tool that is used to let smaller items fall through. So the water would fall through, but there's a possibility that some of the tea leaves would get through as well. I think the best tool or piece of equipment that we could use to separate these 2 mixtures or these 2 ingredients in this mixture would be the tea strainer. Now that I have this match, tea leaves and hot water and tea strainer, let's put it off to the side. Let's pick another one. Everybody give me a drum roll. We're going to go with Spaghetti and meatballs. Everyone likes a little bit of food when they're hungry. Well, immediately when I think of food, I think of the fork. It would be pretty easy to separate the spaghetti and meatballs using the fork. Let's just make sure nothing else makes sense. The magnet, that wouldn't make sense because a physical property of spaghetti and meatballs is it's not magnetic. That wouldn't be safe to eat. Tweezers would maybe make sense for spaghetti, but it would be hard and take a long time to pick up all those individual noodles, and we could ruin a meatball with a tweezer. And lastly, the sieve. I think this would take a while if we tried to get the spaghetti through, and we're definitely not getting the meatballs through the sieve. So the best match for this one is a fork. Ooh, give me an oh yeah if you like to eat your spaghetti and meatballs with a fork. Me too. It's a mixture that I like combined, but I also like it separated too. Sometimes I just like to eat meatballs, and sometimes I just like to eat spaghetti. I like the separate ingredients. Let's go to rocks and sand. This one makes me think of the beach and then being in the woods sometimes. When I think of rocks and sand, let's think of their physical properties. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Are either of these magnetic? No, thumbs down. Neither of these are magnetic, so we can't use the magnet tool to help us separate them. Let's look at the other tools we have left. We have tweezers and a sieve. Pause and turn and talk to a partner. Which tool would you use to separate the two ingredients in this mixture? Did you say that you would use the sieve to separate the rocks and sand? The sieve is the best option here. We could use the tweezers. It might be hard to pick up bigger rocks if that's what's mixed in with our sand. So our best option is going to be the sieve. The sieve is going to let us, we'll be able to pour the mixture in, and we'll be able to shake out all of the sand through the little holes in the sieve, and it will leave us with the rocks on the top and the sands on the bottom and whatever we decide to dump it into. That means we have two options left, our magnet and our tweezers. Let's push our finished ones up to the side. And our aluminum nails and our iron nails and our bran cereal and raisins. Well, if we think about the physical properties of the items that we have left, aluminum nails, iron nails, bran cereal, and raisins, are any of these magnetic? Give me a thumbs up if any of these ingredients are magnetic. I should see some thumbs ups out there. In these ingredients, iron nails are magnetic, meaning if we would want to separate iron from something, we could use a magnet to do so. So we are going to match up our aluminum nails and our iron nails with our magnet. Let's make sure this last one makes sense. Bran cereal and raisins. Well, have you ever seen the size of a raisin? It's super tiny. Tweezers are tiny and pick up small things like a raisin. That would be perfect to separate from the bran cereal and the raisins. Now that we've seen some examples, I'll pull them out on our screen so we can see them again, of different tools and equipments and mixtures that we can separate back into their individual ingredients. You guys are going to get a chance to have a hands-on opportunity to match some of these same items and some different items as well. You're going to look at the different tools or equipment and the different mixtures here. Make sure you pay attention closely to the different individual ingredients in each of your mixtures. Those ingredients can help you figure out what tool you are going to use. Like we did with the raisins, the tweezer small enough with the to scoop up raisins. The same with the magnet. We knew that iron nails were magnetic. It's a physical property of theirs. So we were able to use the magnet to separate them. This is going to be all about using your imagination. There's also a separate game that if you have time, you'll be able to use different tools to show how you use the tool to separate the items. For example, the aluminum nails and iron nails. If we use a magnet to separate the iron fillings, we could show what our two individual ingredients would come out to be. So we could separate them using a magnet to separate the iron fillings. So it would pull out the iron. So So it would pull out the iron nails, and that would leave us with our aluminum nails. So this gives us more of an explanation of how we can use the tools to separate the different ingredients in our mixtures. Your first goal today is going to be to identify those equipments and how you can use them to separate your mixtures. Good luck, scientists, and I'll see you guys soon.